Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down three powerful principles, things that can take any presentation, any training session, really, from something totally forgettable to something that actually sticks.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You sit through some training for like an hour, you're nodding along, it seems to make sense, and then the next morning, poof, it's just gone. Almost all of it. And here's the thing, the problem usually isn't the information itself, it's how it was all put together.
And that leads us right into our very first principle, chunking. Now, this is a really fundamental technique for working with your brain's natural programming, not fighting against it.
Okay, to really see what I mean, just look at this string of letters on your screen. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Go ahead, try to memorize it. Okay, look away. How'd you do? Yeah, it's really hard, right? Almost impossible. That's because our brains just aren't built to handle these long, random streams of information. It's kind of like trying to tune into a radio station that's pure static. All right, but now, look at this. It's the exact same set of letters, but this time they're organized into these little groups, or chunks. All of a sudden, it's not so scary, is it? You can actually start to see the pattern and remember the sequence. You know, this is the exact same reason you can remember a phone number. By breaking down this big, complex thing into smaller, bite-sized pieces, we're giving our brain these little hooks to hang the information on. It's a super simple trick, but it makes a huge difference for remembering stuff.
Okay, so great, you've chunked your content up into these nice, logical bites. But what happens when the topic itself is just really tough? Super complex for your audience?
Well, that's exactly where our second principle comes in. It's called scaffolding. And the name is perfect, because just like scaffolding on a building, you're providing these temporary supports to help people build their own solid foundation of understanding. Now, the key thing to get here is that scaffolding is not about just giving people the answer. No way. It's about guiding them, step by step, giving them just enough support so they feel empowered to figure it out for themselves. But here's the catch. For scaffolding to actually work, the challenge itself has to be, well, just right. You have to find this sweet spot that educators call the Zone of Proximal Development.
And you can see the danger on either side of that zone, right? If something's way too easy, people just get bored, they check out. But if it's way too hard, they get frustrated and just give up. And either way, learning just stops cold.
So your goal, the absolute sweet spot, is that challenge zone right in the middle. It's a task that feels just out of reach, but with your scaffolding, it becomes totally achievable. That is where the magic happens. That's where real growth happens. Okay, so we've got our content chunked, we've figured out our scaffolding. Now we need the master plan to bring it all together. And that brings us to our third and final principle, storyboarding. You can think of this as the actual architectural blueprint for the entire learning experience. I love this analogy. Think of yourself as a movie director. A director would never, ever show up on set without a detailed script, right? They have a storyboard that maps out every single scene, and that's exactly what you're doing here. You're plotting out the entire journey for your learner, from A to Z. And a good storyboard is so much more than just a list of topics. It forces you to ask the important questions. Who am I even talking to? What specifically do I want them to be able to do when this is all over? And then you can sequence your chunks and your activities to make sure you get them there.
So when you put these three pieces together, the chunking, the scaffolding, and the storyboarding, it really does cause this fundamental shift in how you think about your role.
You are no longer just a presenter, someone who just delivers a bunch of facts. You become an architect. You're designing an entire experience. You stop talking at people and start intentionally building a path for them.
And this quote just nails it perfectly. The goal isn't to be the sage on the stage, the smartest person in the room. It's to be the guide on the side. It's about designing a journey. And when you do that using these principles, you make sure that the learning doesn't just get delivered, it's actually built to last.